Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Some further chili pepper emojis coming your way this evening, with Methodz and Temp having a bit of a discussion on Twitch last night about who might be an onliner and who is not. After Vegas Legion did rather well on LAN compared to online, and Boston was the other way around, is there any truth behind what Temp is saying right here? Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate. Plenty of kind of sad updates ready from around the scene. First of all here from Morks, who was such a dominant force I thought back in the Black Ops 4 days with the ICR. ICR Morks on Gen G was such a great player, but officially confirming yesterday he's going to be retiring from the scene. Difficult times because I think Morks actually tried to make the transition to Halo. That didn't really work out so well. Came back to CoD, hasn't really slotted in as he would have liked to. So yeah, just another difficult situation for a player that was great back in the day. Maybe isn't quite the same player today, but nonetheless, Morks certainly a talented guy, but can't really find the opportunities that he needs to stay around. And even this from Doug sent to Martin. Now, you know, before you guys go believing this, it's all fake news, don't worry about it. But if you click on this, it says, yeah, retiring from doing hot yoga before practice because it calms my mind down, puts me in a state of relaxation. So, you know, he's retiring from that, I guess, but he's still on the grind. And he goes on to say, on a serious note, I feel bad for Morks. Sheen, of course, we saw him retire the other day, and many players continuing to retire, and stating, you know, there needs to be expansion. But, yeah, I still kind of doubt that's going to happen, to be honest, as sad as it is at the present time. And also this from Tupac kind of confirming that he's over it, he's done with the S&D scene. To be honest with you, I haven't read through this tweet longer. If you guys want to, feel free, because it's an absolute, like, I mean, look at this, it's absolutely epic. Homer and those other famous poets from the ancient times would be proud of an absolute epic like this. But, I mean, yeah, so that's basically what he's talking about. I'm pretty sure he's so over the scene, it's job done, and even as Envoy says, greatest S&D player of all time. Unlucky, seen as a bunch of gremlins and people throwing shade. So, yeah, look, Tupac at the end of the day still works for as an S&D coach for the Atlanta FaZe, but I think he's probably done with playing Search and Destroy, because yeah, the scene has definitely gone downhill the last several years. There's no doubt about that one. Like the Black Ops 3 scene, S&D was at its absolute peak, and Nick Merckx and everything was playing it. It was such a great time. Unfortunately nowadays it's not quite the same thing, and even Envoy agrees here in the replies. Let's talk furtherly on Rostermania then. Furtherly, not sure that's a word, but this is the European side for the challengers, and well, these are the top teams to note: aBeZy, aBeZy, Cobra, and Linz, of course, the Awoba Bobs Elevates team with their new interesting roster of Denza, Vortex, Journey, and Lucky, and then a Cody Gakpo team, which is probably the London Academy, if they are actually having an academy, with Harry, Gizmo, 18-year-old British talent, F-Dot, and then Furious. So, yeah, this guy's definitely caused a lot of stir the last few days. This guy, well, we believe he might be, I don't know, next Wardy or something. We'll see how that goes. But, yeah, this is the Rostermania stuff in the European Challenger scene, and even confirmation here from Arcitys that, yeah, fighting his way back step by step. So we'll see if this works out. I do wonder what you guys think as well about this LAG roster, whether they can last the test of time. I think they honestly might be better than their former iteration, but I'm just not sure they've got what it takes long term, and it's going to be another tough year, I think, for Los Angeles Guerrillas. They won an event last year. They might be running on the coattails of that for some time, because I can't really see their roster that they've put together here, given the other talent in the league, having too much success, but they're probably going to be better than their last roster, which surely is a step in the right direction, and that's what Arcitys is looking for, step by step to improvements. Also kind of a funny duo card here that the Upper Deck guys put together, because I'm pretty sure that Clay and Cellium have never actually played together. I think they've got a good relationship, but I don't believe they've ever played together, at least in terms of a pro team, because back in Black Ops 4 where Cell came in, he was on FaZe the whole year. Clay was on a United, they never played then, and since the CDLs arrived, Cell's never played with Clay, so not exactly sure what this is about, but nonetheless, pretty cool duo card that might be worth like loads of money if you believe the scammers on eBay as it stands. And also thought this was cool from Nature, from like an owner perspective. It's kind of rare to get an owner that is so kind of aligned with their competitive team, but also was formerly a pro COD player. Of course, Hex is pretty in with the COD pro team, but he didn't compete at a high level in competitive Call of Duty, despite what he might want to say. So, you know, whereas Nadeshot can talk about with the players in that sense, and I thought it was kind of funny. Had a dream last night. We were up 1-0 versus FaZe in a best of 5, tied 5-5 second map, ended up losing last round. So I guess he's kind of saying that his team was in this situation in his dream, rather than he was actually playing for the team. I messaged our CDL leadership Slack channel and said we've got no ice. Somehow you and the entire team were in the Slack as well, and let's just say you weren't so happy about it. And even Octane says, I've seen those co-streams. This is discussing some of those clips that have been seen over the last couple of weeks when Nadeshot was co-streaming the Major and having some reactions to that. And we saw the clip that he had when Kenny did the YY. They lost and he got kind of frustrated. In fairness, I think he was more frustrated about the fact that when Kenny died, he knew they were going to lose, rather than the fact that he YY'd and then died immediately. But, you know, still, as Nadeshot says, you know, when they get uploaded by random TikTok pages, it doesn't look so good. Kenny probably thinks I actually believe we lost the hardpoint because of the YY, but look, I'm not a casual, I've got your guys back, so cool to see an owner like this to his players. But also Kenny confirms here that he's definitely not going to get rid of the YYing anytime soon, saying that you either get roasted for YYing when you die and lose, or you get gassed for it when you're winning. But does he really get gassed when he YYs and get to kill? I mean, like, how does it matter, right? People just want Kenny to drop, if you're a Thieves fan, you just want Kenny to drop a 1.2. Don't care if he YYs and gets a kill. So, you know, I still think he should find a way to stop, but, you know, nonetheless, it maybe still works for him. He's a world champion after all now, so can't talk too much trash. Let's dive into some drama then from last night, because we've got, of course, the Thieves guys and others were playing some 8, and the 8 has been great to watch the last few days. It's been really good times. Obviously, everyone's been streaming it, having a good time. Octane, of course, takes down Drazah right here and shoots his body. It's always fun stuff to see. But Methodz and Temp were going at it a little bit, with Temp coming at him last night and saying that Methodz is basically an onliner and welcome to the call. Then he mutes out immediately, and to a certain extent they're joking around, but you know, there is some truth to the matter. I don't think Temp would say this if there wasn't, in his opinion, some element of truth behind it, and we'll have a look at that in a second.
What's good, online warriors in? Whoa! But I'll be back, yeah, I'm out, yeah. Yeah, they just dragged the out of that, yeah, that was good to tell you, yeah.
No. Hold on.
He already muted.
Hold on. He Neslo'd me and got 80-point clubbed in respawns with a substitute, dude.
Oh.
No way. Club.
Wait, Clay, fight back.
Oh, wait.
Yo,
Why now he wants to validate? Wait, Clay, he wants you to validate his shit talk.
Wait, why did
you just say that?
Because Don just said, "What's up, online warriors?" in, and then muted out.
Now, in my opinion, the roast would have been a little bit better there from Tim if he'd have referred to the M4 stuff, right? Because, of course, the big talking point now with Boston is the fact that they're M4 merchants. They came into this season looking so good. They beat FaZe 3-1. I mean, look at these records. They beat FaZe 3-1 in their first game. They beat Seattle 3-1 in their second game. So those were 2 of the top 3 teams at the major, excluding New York, of course. They then lost to New York 3-2 in their next series. But it's actually kind of crazy to think about that Boston played 3 of the top 3 teams at the major in their first 3 matches, and they went 2-1 against them. But, of course, after that, things fell off quite significantly. The M4 got GA'd after the first 2 weeks. They then played New York, lost to them Game 5. They then lost to Los Angeles Guerrillas, was a bit of a shocker for them. And then they went to the major, got beaten by an amateur team, and then got taken out by Las Vegas Legion, both in Game 5. So the real talking point for most people is the fact that they were doing rather well with the M4 allowed. They went 2-0 against great teams, and then they've been 0-4, even losing to an amateur squad and Elevate, and also Vegas, pretty good, but you know, top 6 of the major, right? And of course, included on that Las Vegas team, it wasn't another than Donnie Temp. So maybe the roast is better if you talk about the fact that, you know, the M4 is gone and now they're terrible, but maybe the alignment also is there with online versus LAN. Maybe this team is a great online team compared to being on LAN. Now, in fairness, I don't really think the Methodz on LAN is any different to online. There might be an argument for the rest of the team, though. There has been discussions in the past that are like to Vivid and Nero, their playstyles, that kind of hyper-aggressive stuff. You can see here by the engagements for 10 minutes here from Vivid, for example. Like, you know, he's just absolutely flying at stuff. And that playstyle can work better online than on LAN. When it's on LAN, things slow down a bit. You get punished a bit more for trying to go completely rogue. So, you know, maybe to a certain extent, this team is better online than LAN. Don't think that's necessarily the case for Methodz individually, but nonetheless, Temp is going to push that idea. And in fairness, you can understand why. They didn't do great at the major. They came top 16. And of course, Vegas went on to place top 6 at that event and weren't too far off even getting to Sunday and coming top 4. Had a great storyline as well. Or are you guys in the camp of, yeah, Methodz didn't really deserve that stray from Temp, and Temp talks a bit too much trash for his achievement? I know that's kind of a common thing that goes the way of Temp nowadays, is the fact that, like, you know, Temp always likes to say stuff on Twitch and on Twitter and stuff like this against other players, but he hasn't necessarily had the results in his career so far, and certainly last season was a disaster. Obviously, they won, like, what, 2 matches the whole season or something like that. They won a couple more at the Pro-Am, but yeah, thankfully Vegas have already effectively passed that margin from last season, this season already. But nonetheless, you know, Temp was, okay, got 17th on the Breaking Point rankings last season for good numbers, but, you know, obviously the results for his team were absolutely terrible. I mean, their average placing last year was 10.7 out of, I mean, you can only place top 12. Like, I mean, look at this, top 12, top 8, top 12, top 8, and then top 12, top 12. So, you know, not not exactly unexpected. And also the only championship Temp has won in his career was the New York Subliners home series a couple of years ago in Modern Warfare, not an LAN tournament, right? And Temp's been a couple of finals on LAN, but has never won one. So, you know, at least Methodz has won his events back in Atlanta 2018, right? In the World War II season. So, you know, of course they're kind of joking around to a certain degree, but just make sure that when we see Vegas versus Boston again, there's going to be a bit of added spice there, I'm sure. And I don't imagine that Methodz is going to be forgetting that one anytime soon. So definitely intrigued your thoughts in the comment section below. A couple of quick things to close out the video with here. First of all, from Deserto, Call of Duty Elite. Do you guys remember using this back in the day? This was so, like, I remember the days where I'd be at school and I'd have Call of Duty Elite, I think, as an app on my phone, or maybe I could go onto it on the internet on my phone, not exactly sure, but you could log in on your phone and change your class setups on the go. I feel like Elite was kind of ahead of its time. I'm not exactly sure, because there was other things involved in this as well. The program at some point got shut down. I remember, like, because I signed up to it, I got like a special camo in Black Ops 2 way back in the day. You guys might remember that as well. It was like, you know, kind of a browny, orangey looking thing. It wasn't particularly nice, but still, like, Elite was great, man. I mean, I don't understand why they shut it down exactly. Maybe it just came too early, and the idea that I could change my classes on my phone before I got home was so unnecessary, but still, it was just so cool. I don't know. I used to just change attachments and stuff on the bus on the way home, and then I could use the class when I arrived. Thought that was absolutely insane, but probably not incredibly useful. But still, this did kind of bring back some memories for me. And just to close out here from Brian's stats, it's time we start talking about how much of a winner Priester is. It's quite a good point, actually, because Priester, in fairness, despite having not had a great couple of seasons, has now done rather well. In the last 5 years, he's won 7 championships, which is number 4 in only the span, behind Arcitys, Simp and aBeZy. Priester, of course, on the 100 Thieves roster during Black Ops 4, won 2 events that season, won an event the season prior in World War II with FaZe Clan, then, of course, on the Atlanta FaZe team, more recently won a fair bit, and then won with New York and also won with Minnesota Rokkr in that kind of Cold War event, right? A crazy land that they won with that reverse sweep against the Toronto Ultra. So despite the fact that Priester the last few years has not been considered to be a dominant force or anything, he's still won an awful lot of championships, and the fact that he's only number 4th in the list of championships in the last 5 years behind that FaZe core is crazy to think about. So very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.